My experience in the Philippines wasn't that great. My experience in the Philippines wasn't that great, and I think it's really weird because I feel like the whole experience has changed me a little bit like 4 days where the part I was El Nido, I was only there for 4 days, but it was the scenery is beautiful, blue waters, you can look down, see fishes. It's like, it's like paradise in a way. It's a beautiful country. I went to a place called El Nido for 4 days, and it was the worst 4 days of my entire life. Like, I might get a bit emotional because it was the worst experience I've ever had going to any country. Like, it was just, I've never felt so unattractive. So I felt like I was illuminous. Like, whenever I stepped out, I had people pointing, sorry, I had people pointing, I had people laughing, I had people giving me the most hideous comments ever. I was called a fat ugly monkey. I was called just fat girl, big black fat girl. I was called like the most horrendous things you can ever, like, if I was at home, shit would have popped off. If I was at home, I would have had something to say. My fists would have been flying because I feel like that's very disrespectful. But when you're in another country, you feel like, what's the point arguing with people that you don't speak the same language on? I feel like I'm not explaining myself properly because the emotions are getting to me, but really it was just, I didn't, my confidence, my Elaine-ness was gone. Like, I became a shadow of my former self. I wasn't eating properly. I didn't want to leave the hotel. The only way I wanted to leave the hotel is if I was with my friend. I didn't want to, like, go out on the street by myself because I just felt like I was an easy target. Like, someone had stuff to say. Like, this woman in a shop buying like some water, she grabs my stomach and was like, fat, and I was just like, I lost my shit. Like, I was just like, I need to go back to the hotel. My friend had gone, I didn't want to do day trips because people would be like, oh, you have to pay twice because you're fat, you have to pay twice. Like, when we got into these like little cycles, they're called, but they're like tuk-tuks. If you've ever been to Thailand, like that, they'll be like, oh no, you have to pay twice because you're fat, you have to pay twice. And my friend like lost it twice over there. She was like, that's so rude, you can't say that. But I don't know how I didn't lose it, but I didn't. I just became into myself more. I became very unhappy, and then I got ill out there as well. So I was ill. I had people chatting shit constantly. There wasn't a time that I felt 100% comfortable. And I felt sorry for my friend because it was her birthday and she really wanted to go to this El Nido because of lagoons and everything like that. And I wanted to see them, but I didn't get to see them because I wasn't going to go on a boat and be stuck there and be made to feel like shit, because that's how it would have been. And I think it was a combination of everything. Like, obviously I'm tall, I'm like 5'10", I'm black. I was getting blacker by the second as I was out there, which I loved. And I was fat, and I think it was all the combinations that obviously people couldn't handle because there was other black people there. There was black men everywhere. You can go to Timbuktu, you can see a Nigerian man. So black people were everywhere. But it was like everybody else was fine, but it was just me. Like, when a whole group of people turn and laugh at you and point at you. As confident as I was, because my confidence has disintegrated into pieces, and as confident as I was, like, that was, it was awful. Like, we left after 4 days, and we went to we went to Cebu, and we went to another island. Even when I went to Manila, it was fine. Cebu was fine, but that part, and we were there technically the longest in that part as well. That part was just ridiculous. And I don't know, because I haven't got a boyfriend or anything, do you know when you just needed to hear someone tell you that, Elaine, shush, you're cute, like, Elaine, you're fine, you're pretty, like, I just needed, like, someone to tell me I know this is really self-absorbed, but I really needed someone to be like, like, people did that. My mum was like, they're chatting shit. My friends were like, don't listen to them. But you know when you need that person to be like, Elaine, like, don't worry, you're beautiful to me, da da da. And because I didn't have that as well, I just felt I was very vulnerable, and I'm not a vulnerable person, but I was very, very vulnerable in the whole situation. And I will not be going to the Philippines again. Never, ever, 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 ever. My foot is never stepping on that soil. For all the people that have been and loved it, it's a beautiful place. I understand why you would go back. But for me, the way I was ridiculed and made to feel, I don't think they even thought about my feelings in the whole situation, like, anyway, because I feel like I was bullied I know, I don't want to throw out the word bully and this, that, but for them 4 days, I felt like I was being bullied. And another word that I hate, 'cause everybody uses it on YouTube, everybody has anxiety, but literally, I didn't want to leave the hotel room. And if my friend was just left me there, I would have just gone to the shop quickly, come back, and sat there and watched telly. Like, I did not want to leave the hotel. It took so much energy for me to leave the hotel room. Because I've never had this feeling before. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible feeling. And I feel like it's changed me in a bad way. Like, the whole holidays changed me in a bad way. I feel like I'm always up here promoting self-confidence and do this and be who you want to be. And for the first time, my confidence is completely, it's this. It was this, and now it's this. It's hardly anything, because I felt like they just broke me. And I know this seems quite extreme for 4 days but I felt like it was 4 days of torture. Not even joking. 4 days. Like, why am I up on YouTube crying? Because it was 4 days. Do you like my hair, by the way? Yeah. 4 days of torture. Like, it wasn't. I wanted to come home, and I've never been on holiday where I've wanted to come home, where I've been counting in my head, counting down the days for me to come back to London, where I'm just accepted of who I am.